Everyone, you're live with Danny Ferrier from Danny Ferrier Coaching. I'd love to give you some tips on how you can monitor your team's progress because it's never been more important. Now more than ever, as a leader, we need to step back from being in the daily doing and start inspiring our team to step up their game. And part of that is also monitoring their progress so that you've got a point of reference and you're able to have certainty yourself that you know where your team is at. Now, some of you might be thinking, how am I ever going to fit in more time to be able to monitor my team's progress? Well, that is a really good question. And I would challenge you to create time in your schedule because this is one of the fundamental things that I'm working with my business owners on to help them to connect with your team or connect with their team in a deeper way. Because you see, people aren't inherently taught how to care. People grow up in different environments and maybe they never have had someone to take the time to set goals with them. And now you as the business owner need to be the one who creates space for them to thrive. Now, there's some massive benefits in you monitoring their progress. And one of them is that you get feedback about what is going on within the organization. You hear more stories about their interactions with your clients. Maybe there is a systems issue that you didn't know about that needs to be updated. It also makes them feel close to you and they feel that you are really taking the time for them. And that really helps with the emotional engagement with them and their role. I had an example of a client who had a team member who wasn't sleeping very well. And he was probably only getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep every single night. And he didn't have a system set up for checking in with his team members. So all he saw was his team members' progress going downhill and showing up to work sluggish and not creating the time to check in with him until finally he thought, okay, something's really wrong. But if you've got a consistent system set up and you know that you're going to be checking in with people and you know where they're at, it also means that they're ready to come to you because even if you don't have a scheduled meeting, they're used to you creating the time. So they make an effort to come to you with their challenges. And that helps you mitigate the problem straight away or help support them within their challenge so that they can then show up to work in a more engaged and enthused way. So I trust that you're loving this message and I know that check-ins within businesses isn't a new concept. So you might have heard this all before, but I would love to share with you how 90-day check-ins are really pivotal for today's businesses. So having a 90-day check-in doesn't need to be a formal performance review because not every company, and especially not every SME, has that formal environment. You might be in construction, for example, or a plumbing company, and your performance review can just be a 20-minute chat or a beer after work with one of your team members. But the important thing is to make sure that at least every 90 days, and some companies do it every month, you've had a one-on-one time for at least 20 minutes with each team member. So the way that I love to share how you do this is to use the model called TAKOKA. Now, if you would like to hear more about how you can use a solid framework for these conversations, then please go to my website, www.dannyferriercoaching.com, and download the webinar. It also comes with a worksheet, and you'll learn all about the wonderful TAKOKA model so that you can have a structure for those 90-day meetings. The second part to this is making sure that you keep really good notes on each team member. I use a program called Notion, which is a project organization, and it's a free program. And if you're an SME and you don't have a big budget, and I totally get that, there are employee tracking apps out there, and there's some wonderful technology that you can use. But if you're not there yet, just go on to Notion, and it's notion.so. And it's a really good way for you to create a profile on each team member. In the profile, you want to be updating that after those little team check-ins with what are the goals of the team member? What are the aspirations? What is it that they mention to you that is significant? The other part of this is for you to step back from the busyness of every day and think in a more profound way about what it is that is, where is that employee, how is that employee performing? Where are they at in terms of where you need them to be? And what I would recommend is scaling them on a scale of 1 to 5. So create a metric for yourself. What does 1 mean? What does 5 mean? What is an outstanding employee within that role? What do they need to, how do they need to be performing? So having those really good notes can help you not only to remind yourself of where they are at and what you've discussed, but think about it. If you are 2 years down the track and you can go back and look at somebody's profile and see the progression and the development within their role, you're able to acknowledge them. And there's a really wonderful quote that I love, and it was from the 5 Levels of Leadership. And he mentions, how do you know when somebody needs a pat on the back? And the answer is if they're breathing, because everybody needs a pat on the back. And being able to have that evidence and know that that person has progressed so much in the last year or two and acknowledging them for that, that's a really wonderful way for you to create engagement and care within your workplace. The next part to this is keeping your team members accountable for the actions and the goals that they set within those 90-day meetings. And sending a scheduled email out to them and pre-writing it just straight away after you've had your 90-day check-ins is a wonderful way for you to be able to keep their goals fresh of mind. And then they notice that you are on their team. You want them to succeed. And that accountability can be a really wonderful opportunity for you to help them with any challenges that have come up. And that email can simply say, hey, would love to know where you're at with what we discussed. We discussed ... Let me know your progress on these things or any challenges that have come up in the meantime. So it doesn't need to cost you a lot of energy, and it can help you to re-engage with them in a really simple way using that scheduled email to check back in with them in 2 weeks' time. Now, I love that everybody is understanding about the 90-day reviews, but the most important thing here is how you run them and asking yourself, who do I need to be in this conversation to be more effective? This is not a box ticking exercise. If you just say, okay, Danny told me about these 90-day things, I'm just going to do them because she said so. That's not the mindset. The mindset is really taking the time to understand on a deeper level what it is that your employee needs so that they can succeed. I trust that this was a good message for a casual Thursday, and I look forward to hearing your comments. If you're watching this on replay, please type #replay and type any questions in the comment. Thanks. Bye.